Hello, today we will be learning how to tap different shafts and holes. I'm your tutorial guide Lorenzo, and I can promise you that by the end of this video, you'll be on your way to be a professional tapper. Let's get right to it.
So to start, make sure you're using proper lab safety and etiquette, have your goggles on, tiny loose hair, make sure your loose jewelry is put away. During tapping, you're going to be using grease, which can get really messy, so roll up your sleeves. Don't fool around while tapping. Other people are going to be using the lab for much more dangerous purposes, so you have to be mindful. And always be safe. So before we begin, I will tell you there's two different ways to tap. Today I'll be teaching you the manual way, which is more for beginners, and then there's another way which is more for advanced users, which is using a contraption or a machine that is made for tapping. There is a video that I will post on the description below, guiding you guys to a tutorial for the more advanced one if you want to see it. With those things out of the way, let's get right to it. So finally, how do we start? Well, you're going to need the part itself. So go to a supervisor or mentor and ask them for a part that needs tapping. It doesn't have to be a part that necessarily needs to be tapped, just any part that you can use for tapping will be fine. Once you're given the part, you need some materials. So you're going to need the tapper itself, a towel, a screw with the same size hole as you're tapping, grease, and a vise. Now, if you need help finding any of these tools, you can just ask your mentor or supervisor. They'll most likely know. So again, I will have to remind you guys that there are going to be people using the lab for much more dangerous purposes. So please be mindful. Tapping isn't very dangerous, but you still need to be mindful of other people who are using the lab for much more dangerous things. So to begin, you're going to put the towel over the vise and then place your part on top of the towel that has been placed on top of the vise. Then you're going to adjust the vise to the point where the part is held tightly, and you may now begin. So, how do you tap? I know it looks like a lot, but I promise you guys it's super simple. Begin by greasing the part and the tapping device itself. Then place the tapping device over the hole you're about to screw and make sure it's as perpendicular to the hole as possible. This ensures that no damage is done to the part or the tapping device itself. Now, there's a variety of ways that you can tap. However, the most popular and used one is 2 forward rotations and 1 backwards rotation. So what does this mean? It means screw it twice and unscrew it once. Why do you need to do this? Because if you just screwed it in directly, it would completely damage the part and make it unusable. Another way which you can do it is 1 forward rotation and 1/2 of backwards rotation. So this way is faster, but it can be riskier if you're not as experienced. If at the start you're not sure when to do the backwards rotation, it's okay. Just screw it until you feel resistance. That means that you need to unscrew and screw it again, and unscrew and screw it again. And if that still doesn't work, then use more grease. We have a ton of grease here at the lab. You can use as much as you want. We care about saving the part. We don't care about how much grease you use. Use as much grease as you can. Grease is your best friend here. So, how do you know that you're done tapping? Well, once you see the tapping device on the other end of the hole, that means you can unscrew and begin testing. Testing is very important, and it ensures that the part has actually been tapped correctly and can be used as accordingly. So, to test, you're going to begin screwing a screw all the way through the hole that you have just tapped. And if there's any resistance whatsoever, even if it's a little, you're going to need to repeat the entire process. I know it can be very tedious at times, but this ensures that the part is completely well tapped. It can be used without any issues or problems. So, you're finally done, right? Wrong. You need to clean up. So, after you finish tapping, you need to wash your hands and all the parts that you use to tap. I know grease is very messy, so just use a wet rag, and that's the best way that you can get all the grease out. After that's complete, you can take out the towel from the vise and put it in its proper cleaning bin. Check the vise for any grease spills. You don't want to have just grease everywhere, so make sure you clean the grease or any spills anywhere around the surrounding area. place all the items and tools that you've used in their proper spot, and you have officially completed your tapping process. Now, after you've tapped a couple parts, you're going to realize how time-consuming tapping a part can be, and you're going to want to try to find ways to do it quicker. However, that's the complete opposite of what you are trying to do. So, tapping can take a long time, but it's very crucial for the part to ensure that it doesn't get damaged or broken. However, you can always move on to machine tapping. Once you've gotten a lot more experience with tapping, you can move on to machine tapping, which is a lot more efficient, but it can break the part a lot easier if you're not as experienced. I would recommend to start off tapping manually, and once you have all the basics down and you're confident with your skill, then you can start machine tapping. If you have any questions over the machine or how to use it, you can ask your supervisor or someone who's an experienced tapper for help. Like I said before, I will have the video in my description to the video that teaches you how to use the machine tapping. So thank you so much for watching, and tap on.